I bid you welcome to Halloween Horror Month 2020. Our first review will be shortly revealed to be Dracula. That's right. Come out in 1931 and was one of, if not the first, film with actual audio, voice, speaking, that kind of movie. And it kind of shows because there's no background music, really. Just during the opening, when it says Dracula, and it plays the dun, dun, whatever music, and that's it. So I learned to put background music in the end. Let's talk about characters. And we'll start with the first character that we see in the film, and that is Renfield, played wonderfully by Dwight Frye. My God. Bela Lugosi is great, but this guy nearly steals the movie away from Bela Lugosi. Because let me tell you, he starts normal. He's this guy, he's in Transylvania, he's going to Castle Dracula to talk to Count Dracula. And so Count Dracula can sign the lease for Carfax Abbey in England. So he goes there, and he gets a meal, and Dracula brings out this wine. And he gives it to him. He says, "Aren't you going to have some?" Which we get the classic line from Dracula, "I never drink wine." And Renfield drinks it, and then Dracula leaves. He's going to rest, which he doesn't. And then you just see, Renfield goes to the window, you see a bat flying there, and then the Dracula's brides come in, which is like the only scene in the film, really. And then Dracula stops, the bat swoops in and stops them because after Renfield passes out. And then, I should point out that in the book as well as the remake, it was actually Jonathan Harker, who went to Transylvania to see Dracula, not Renfield. But I do like Renfield better. Just saying. And then you get that scene where he's completely under Dracula's control, and they're on the ship, and he goes, Master, the sun is gone. The sun is gone. You're gonna wake up." And then it just cuts, right? After he's promised stuff about eating small rats, whatever. It cuts, and it just cuts to these two guys who are on the boat now, the ship now, and say that it just coasted in, and everyone on the ship was dead. And then you hear it, the Renfield laugh. What was that? Hear it again. And I like, beautifully done. He says nothing. He opened the thing, he says nothing, and he's just standing there. Wonderful. And he's good in later scenes too. Dracula! And then, "No, Master, I wasn't telling them anything." And then the whole thing with the fainting maid, the maid faints, and he comes in. Hayes is a wonderful character. I do feel bad for Martin, who is the orderly at the hospital, the asylum where he was locked up, because he keeps getting out. Martin has to keep bringing him in. There's a point towards the end of the film where they call, "Martin, can't you keep him in?" "What? Again? How does he keep getting out?" It's funny. It's funny. Next, the one, the only, Dracula. A template which all other versions of Dracula, cosplayers, whatever, have followed. Because Dracula, isn't supposed to have any sort of accent. But Lugosi was Hungarian, so he had an accent. So now, when you do a Dracula, impersonation, you automatically go to "I want to suck your blood," which he never actually says, but just like that accent. Greetings, welcome to Castle Dracula. Great, and his introduction, you see him on the thing, but his big introduction is when they go in, and he goes on the steps to take Renfield upstairs, and you hear "oh" outside, and he goes, "The children of the night, what music they make." And his scenes with Edward Van Sloan, as we're going to bring him in here now, because as Professor Van Helsing, especially the scene where, because Van Helsing figures out that Dracula is the vampire that they're looking for. He knows there's a vampire, and he figures out that Dracula is the one they're looking for. So he brings this thing, and it's a mirror in a little box, and he opens it up, and Dracula just knocks it down. And you see in his eyes, he knows. Van Helsing knows what he is. And they have a battle of wits between them eventually. There's even a scene where he tries to compel Van Helsing, like he does with Mina, like he does with the Nurse Briggs, like he does with Renfield. But Van Helsing is so fucking strong-willed, that he for a second he's like, "Your will is strong." The acting in this film is fantastic. The matte paintings, they look very much like matte paintings, but they're still very well done matte paintings. I'm just saying. One thing that's not really negative, but it's kind of needs to be said, is that it ends very quickly. Like, you hear Dracula scream, you hear Van Helsing do the, stake thing, and you hear Dracula scream. Mina, she snaps out of it, because she was bit, she becomes compelled, and she snaps out of it. She's human again. And then Van Helsing says, "Go, leave," and then it ends. They go up the stairs, it ends, but Van Helsing stays behind. I know that picks up in Dracula's Daughter, which I hope I can get to sometime this month, but it's just a very abrupt ending. It's like, oh, hey, it's over. Okay? But other than that, this movie's fantastic. I have to give Dracula a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love this film. It's a classic to be assured of. Performances alone make this wonderful. You can tell that everyone here had at some point been a theater actor. Just the way the dialogue was written, the way they delivered the dialogue, is very theatrical. And I love that in this game. Especially in this kind of a film, in this kind of day and age, 1931. Can you imagine, in only 11 years from now, this will turn 100 years old. 100 years old in 11 years. If I'm still on YouTube in 11 years, I'll probably do a video on it. But that's 11 years from now. Who knows? I could be turned into a chicken or something. Who knows? But yes, it gets a 10 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Dracula? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I plan on trying to do Frankenstein today. And then Sunday, there's an NXT thing on, I want to do The Fog. I'm not going to do a bunch of Universal Monsters back to back, because watching movies that old, but back to back, it's not a thing for me. But yeah, so thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.